Hello, my name is Ben Schwartz, and welcome to week 2 of the Albany Firebirds review and preview show. This week is going to be slightly different because I'm leaving for Washington, D.C. Tomorrow, which this is actually, I'm doing this right after the game has ended because I will be leaving for D.C. on Saturday, so I can't, and I'm going to be coming back on Wednesday, so I'm making the show early so that I can put it out a tad bit earlier, and so that I obviously can't make it in DC because I can't edit and stuff. So that's why this show is coming out a little bit earlier, and why I won't have an interview during the show. But I will make up for that. I'm getting Christian Wise to make a video that hopefully has him and even a few other players in it. Slight change of pace. It's not parsed into the show, as you'll see. But it will be coming separately, probably on Wednesday or Thursday. So you won't go this week without an interview, so don't worry about that. I will be getting you that content. But I guess we have to move on to this game, as much as it hurts. Well, this definitely was a tale of two halves. The first half definitely would have left a fan with legitimate hope. We looked pretty good against what is a great Pioneers team. We were leading at many points during the first half, and the only time we ever really looked sloppy was at the end of the half. So overall, I mean, it really would have instilled hope in anyone who was watching. And you could hear the announcer. They screwed up the audio on the broadcast, so we were actually getting Scranton's audio, which I don't know what the exact problem with that was, but Nifty TV was reporting that as an issue. I'm not really sure what they meant. So basically, the announcer was starting to say, wow, this Pioneers team is better than the Firebirds in every single way, yet look at how this game has turned out. And Albany, was losing by one touchdown at the end of the half. The end of the half was pretty dramatic. We almost blew it. So really, at the end of the first half, you would have been thinking, wow, I can't believe we're really keeping pace. And, while we Firebirds fans would have had hope, every other fan in the AF2 wasn't giving us a chance in this game. So anyways, clearly good first half. Second half, horrible. One of the worst halves a team could possibly play. You'd be hard-pressed to find a more depressing series of events than what happened. We really looked like we were keeping up, and then all of a sudden, it started to fall apart, and the deficit began to grow and grow and grow, and it became embarrassing. And it was just a really tough loss. Hard to stomach such a blowout. After what looked like was going to be such a close game. But there are a few positives to take from this. Bednarik is still running well. He's tucking the ball and running at every chance he got. I definitely talked about that in the first show, but it's slightly different this time around because he was actually running with it instead of just running and then throwing. So he was certainly doing his scrambling spiel, but then he would take it and run with it, and he had some nice runs in this game. So he certainly didn't, die down as far as that would go. You may have been afraid that maybe, he threw some interceptions in the first game, so maybe he wouldn't run as much, but that certainly is one of his strengths, and I hope he doesn't stop doing that because he certainly has a talent there, and if he can, manage the fumbles a little bit, which we'll get to in a minute, then, he could definitely be a good quarterback. So that's definitely a positive. Christian Wise, who is one of Bednarik's receivers, we're starting to learn is the number one receiver. It's pretty obvious. Wise is getting thrown to a lot, and in the clutch situations he's getting thrown to. They're not always completions because Bednarik is a little errant sometimes, and Wise can't always adjust to some of the passes, or some of the times Bednarik is scrambling. But when they connect, it's usually a nice play, and you definitely have to be impressed with how Wise has been playing, and we're lucky to have him as a contributor to the site as well. The game, another positive we could probably take from this is that there were less fumbles. I mean, in the first game, it was ridiculous. We were just fumbling every minute, it seemed like. This game had less fumbles, and that's a positive, but there were still fumbles. Like I said before, there were multiple center snap fumbles, which seems like something you would be able to fix in practice. I don't know. I hope they work on that more often because this did happen in the first game, and I thought they were going to correct something like that. But there were definitely some fumbles that came from the snap to Bednarik, and it only bit us a few times, but still, you really don't want to take that risk or have that kind of thing be happening. And Bednarik doesn't really have terrible decision making. For someone who scrambles that much, usually that's a negative side to a quarterback who runs like that, is that he's running at the wrong times and then he's gonna throw an interception that was just a terrible throw. He doesn't make those bad decisions. He does obviously make a few bad throws where it seems like he's throwing it directly to the defender, but everyone does that. And as a player playing in his second arena game and as a rookie, really it's impressive how well he's adjusted. And obviously we didn't come away with the win in either of these games, but I personally, I mean, I'm obviously high on him right now. You would notice that. I guess I'm a little biased because I really like the way he plays and I think it's fun to watch him. But if we keep losing like this, I don't know. I guess I'll start to question it. But at this point, I kind of like Bednarik's style of play. He's not making the worst decisions in the league. And, I wouldn't mind it if he stayed in a while. We need to really see what he has to do or what he can do. And the last thing I really want to mention is penalties. Penalties were horrible in this game. You can't expect to win if you're just going to bite yourself in the butt every time you get a nice drive going, or anytime, we there are actually multiple occasions where the Pioneers blew it and they had these like huge passing interference penalties against them, but then we would have illegal formation or something on offense, so it would be taken away. So honestly, those kind of mistakes, this just goes with practice. I just feel like this team isn't prepared necessarily. Things like the center to snap exchange, the penalties, the other fumbles we've had, that just comes with lack of preparedness and certainly the fact that these players are new to the game. So there's nothing really you can do about that. So that's about all I have to say about this week. Christian Wise, again, like I said before, will hopefully be coming out with a video about Wednesday or Thursday. So check back for, that's kind of the player interview section of the week, because I will be in DC. And I might be releasing a little bit of a preview write-up right before the game, which is Saturday, which is our first home game. I guess I'll get into that a little bit. I'm pretty excited because I've never been to Albany, let alone an AF2 game. So, I'd be interested to see what it's like compared to when I used to go to Dragons games. And I'm pretty excited to do it anyways. I'll have my press pass and I'll be getting some legitimate interviews with people live, which is a change of pace. So, I hope you guys get a little bit excited for that, and I hope you guys show up to the stadium. We need to get that attendance up. This franchise was shaky last year, thinking about folding until they rebranded. So we need to put butts in the seats, and if we do that, then I think that maybe we can keep the Firebirds around, and maybe we could start getting a winning record for once. So check back in the middle of the week for C-Wise's production, a few interviews hopefully he'll get. Until then, keep the hope alive, and hopefully Bednarik can carry us through the rough times we've been going through right now.